Hello, I'm Pastor Joe, and I want to welcome you to Impact. You know, I started Impact series just under 2 years ago, and the reason I started this was to offer you some very practical helps, tips, and ideas to help nurture your faith in, your commitment to, and your relationship with Jesus Christ. And I suspect that you're a lot like me, that in your relationships, you want to grow closer to people. When I'm with my friends, I want to get to know them better. I want to know what it is that makes them tick. What are their hopes and their dreams? What are their disappointments in life? What is it that brings them just unbounding joy, and what is it that breaks their heart? What is it that helps them to be excited about waking up in the morning? What is it that causes them to be cautious in life? And I think these same kinds of things, that same idea about growing closer, should apply to our relationship with Jesus Christ. We should want to grow deeper in our commitment and our knowledge of and our relationship with Jesus Christ. And that's what this current series of Impact videos aims to do. So come on, let's get started. Last week, we began a new series. It's a 5-week series, and it's entitled 5 Things to Grow Your Faith. And so over these next few weeks, we're going to be looking at things, some spiritual practices and things that are going to help nurture your faith and help you to grow deeper in that. We began our time together by looking at the importance of Bible study, how regular reading and studying of the Bible is important and critical for us. Well, today we're going to be looking at another thing that's important, and it's prayer. You know, years ago, I had an elder come up to me and share with me a conversation or a statement that he overheard one of our members make during worship. It seems that during worship, I was inviting the congregation to enter into a time of prayer, and this person leaned over to the person next to them and said, "Pastor Joe sure does like to pray a lot." We know, I'm not exactly sure how they meant that comment, but I can tell you how I took it. I took it as a compliment. I firmly believe in prayer. I believe in the power of prayer, and I believe we should all be praying more, and we should trust prayer more. And so this series, today's video is going to be focused on prayer. Now, I'm not going to be so much offering you ideas of how to pray. In fact, the very first Impact series I did was a 6-week study of prayer. So you can go back and look at those first 6 videos, and there are some very practical and I think good tips and ideas of how to pray. But I want to offer you some tips and some suggestions on how to have a more consistent and regular prayer life. Now, there's 4 things I want to share, and these 4 things come from Martin Luther. And they are his response to his barber who came to him asking how to develop and how to have a more regular and consistent prayer life. So the first thing that Martin Luther offered to him was not to spend all of your time in prayer focused on yourself. You see, we certainly need to spend time lifting up our prayer concerns and naming those that we're praying for, but we also need to be sure that we are praying for the kingdom, that we are praying for Christ's work in and through us and throughout the world, not only in our lives and not only among those people we know, but everywhere. So pray beyond yourselves and pray for the kingdom. The second thing that Luther suggests is setting aside time every day to pray. And his reason was simple. Luther knew that we're busy. And because we're busy, the hecticness and the demands on our life are going to interfere with that prayer life. Because many times we'll say, well, I'm going to pray when I get time. And then we get busy in life, and so we don't. So set aside time daily to pray. Schedule it if you have to. But when you make it a part of your daily routine, it's going to be something that you keep. Now, related to this is Luther's third suggestion, and that is to set aside a quiet space. So not only have a regular time you pray, but have a place that you pray in regularly. And the idea here is that it helps us to focus. Because these distractions in life, the demands on our life can distract us and keep us from focusing on prayer. I think it's really interesting the reason that Luther gave to his barber. This is what he said to him. He said, prayer is like your task as a barber. The last thing I want you to do is have your mind wandering when you have lathered up my face and you take out that blade and start shaving me. I don't want you to start wool gathering and end up slitting my throat. So find a quiet space free from distractions where you can focus on your time of prayer. So the fourth thing that Luther suggests, is that we pray out loud. There is something invaluable about lifting our prayers in an audible way. Now, I'll tell you, the first time you do it, you may feel awkward, but keep at it. And if you will keep praying out loud, trust me, it's going to feel more natural and you're going to find it very helpful. So look, here's my challenge to you this week. I want you to think over these 4 suggestions. And that is to don't spend all your time focused on yourself, but pray for the kingdom. Set aside time every day to pray. Have a quiet space where you can focus on your prayers and then pray out loud. Think on these and implement them as much as you can. And then pray. Pray and pray and pray. I don't think we can pray too much. Well, look, I want to thank you for joining me this week for this video. I hope you find it helpful and nurturing in your walk of faith and in your prayer life. I encourage you to share it with others, your friends, your neighbors. If you haven't already, please take the time to subscribe to my YouTube channel. And when you do, be sure you click the icon of the bell, and then you'll get notified of any new videos that I post. Well, look, I hope that you will join me next week. Next week, we're going to be focusing on our call to worship. Well, look, until we get together next week, I continue to pray that God's blessings will be with you.